My studio began with the idea that there is no one right way to be or to understand the world. Two strong, even opposing ideas and forces can peacefully and happily coexist. So meaning then comes from relationships, a connection and contrast to other things. Just like a bridge can't exist without two sides, without context, a thing is just a potential. So you can put together a space and have an experience in that space that is completely individual and unique, yet also holds together according to principles of art and design. This is important because when our environment supports us, we are more kind, generous, open, and even loving towards each other instead of scattered, fatigued, disconnected, confused, and angry. This applies to you as a person, to your life, to your world. It can be external, physical places and objects, or it can be internal relationships and ideas. And my work is distilling the essence of a place or person into something they can share with others. So we can transport people to other places, connect them to happy memories or idealized selves. This was an event, a mashup of all of this couple's happy places in one venue. Those murals were inspired by, sorry, I'm very nervous, so my voice is cracking a lot, by a place in Italy called Cinque Terre, and it took place in Ucluelet, BC. This one was a reaction to the commodification of style in wedding blogs and magazines. I wanted to speak to those things and honor the place, culture, and history where I live in Alberta. So 85-year-old Barns in northern Alberta became a Gothic church. This was a homemade wedding. This was a wedding where a bride wanted a homemade wedding in her mom's garden under the apple tree, but mom wanted a big hotel wedding with 400 guests. So we made handcrafted, crude decorations out of cardboard tubes and masking tape that felt rich and luxurious, and we used warm light and placement to make a cavernous ballroom feel intimate, warm, and cozy. This couple isn't flashy, but they love details, so we created an art gallery in a Chinese restaurant. All the decor was made by hand, and those floral panels now hang in their living room. This event gave us permission to find unusual connections between things and give permission for things to coexist. So classic sci-fi like Star Wars and Blade Runner is often inspired by early 20th century futurism, but sometimes things aren't going to match, like when you really want clown ushers to fight your Sith overlord and prevent him from making you pregnant. This editorial was inspired by Goblin Market. It's a poem, a pre-Raphaelite poem about the love between two sisters with strong lesbian undertones. Wedding marketing is typically very conservative, but I wanted to do something a little bit subversive, organic, and lush. This was a Christmas party for Enbridge. I wanted to turn the industrial into something elegant and beautiful, so we took 500 feet of PVC pipe and cut them into sections to make Christmas trees and wreaths. For this, how do you transform a mechanics workshop into a 5-star Formula Paddock Club for VIPs and racing enthusiasts with a keynote speech by Peter Windsor, one of racing's foremost journalists? Well, you dim the lights, shine spotlights on all the cars, and cover literally everything with spandex. As an organizer, when you give people a framework to make something with you, they really step up. So I produced Dîner en Blanc for 3 years. It's a massive outdoor dinner party, a very DIY event. And we invite our guests to be active co-creators in the event. They literally bring all of the furniture with them, but their crazy costumes and their centerpieces become the stars of the show. This design began with a material as humble as table salt. So how many ways can we represent a white cube? So we used salt as a centerpiece, which actually looked like cocaine because the centerpiece was, the table was covered with mirror. Yeah, that was unexpected. This was a fundraiser that was inspired by the 90s. It was a very dark time, the 90s. I was asking people for inspiration. They're like, nothing happened there. But it was my formative years, so I wanted to talk about it in a joyful way. So we took the early 90s and turned that into a warehouse party. This was a fundraiser for Glenrose. We wanted a way to talk about their rehabilitation program as art. So we literally took body casts that were used for spinal injuries. We took prosthetics and speech language machines and turn those into sculpture gardens. So this work can transport us to other places. It can connect us to happy memories. It can present an idealized self, connect places and ideas that were not connected before, and give permission for things to coexist. It can also allow us to revisit familiar spaces and ideas and make them feel fresh. I was tired of looking at Gatsby parties, so I wanted to do something film noir, which just push it forward about 20 years. It can also connect us to another place and time, or a place within ourselves where we feel happy, supported, and safe. And even if that space doesn't exist for us in our current lives, we can build it, and it can give us something to work towards. So sometimes my wedding clients ask me to design their homes after we're finished. One of the things I really like about that is we can take the ideas that we talk about in our wedding work and apply that to their homes. One client joked about me saving them from divorce, and I thought he was joking, but that was actually true. And here, this was a Christmas decorated hotel suite for Dee Snider. He's the frontman for Twisted Sister. You wouldn't know it because he describes himself as a dirtbag, but he actually lives in a very traditional home and has very traditional values. So one of the things that's come out of doing all of this work, asking people to be vulnerable in front of me and to share details about their lives in front of me, is it's really taught me to find my own courage. As you can tell, I'm a massive introvert that gets very nervous in front of people, and I'm talking in front of you now. So yeah, witnessing all of this courage encouraged me to find my own. Thank you.